Oh, this is so awesome. So we have James Wexler from Scottsdale, Arizona. How are you, James? What's
Hi,
going
bro.
on in Scottsdale?
Hey, it's always good to be on these calls. Definitely a good use of our time listening to not only what everybody's seeing in the market, excuse me, but overall real estate market, but success stories about this, how they're helping seniors, um, in this. So, and definitely training, educational for our team, and information as well.
So how is it, James, when you and your team are going out to senior living facilities? What kind of
It's
reception are you getting?
that change of just being a realtor to moving forward with Cash CPO, how you're helping seniors and helping the people on site. But it's probably not a surprise. We could probably talk more about consistency and a lot less about Cash CPO.
Yeah, really, really. No, you're
You
absolutely
know,
right.
and I mean that's true about anything in in life, whether it's working out or business or Cash CPO.
Isn't
Uh,
that true? So, what would you say, James, to seniors out there listening or kids of seniors? And of course, kids of seniors are probably more of our age group, right? So, of course, we're 32. I'm just kidding. But, it's people in their 50s, 60s, and 70s sometimes who are the kids of the seniors that are helping their seniors transition into senior living. So, children with aging parents, exactly, exactly. So, what would you say to those kids of parents who, are in their 60s and 70s?
sure,
And
I actually met with some yesterday morning specific to that. They're moving their family to Wisconsin. They have a house there they've been in since the early 80s. It looks like the early 80s. The market conditions, unfortunately, don't support a quick sale right now, unless, of course, they just renovated a whole house, which isn't realistic financially, time-wise. So, and based on the condition, getting it ready for photos is difficult. So here's an opportunity to achieve a lot or almost all of the market value in a lot less, arduous, cumbersome way. Uh, and it's difficult to because people see retail prices and they're still stuck on retail and they don't know what we know
yes,
in the market. So, but I think if you're consistent with them, follow up, you share market data about sales, I think they lean towards this because it makes sense. They're maximizing their value and they're not dealing with the headaches. And that's the parents and the kids especially where they want to do the most for their parents, but they're limited with their time likely. So
absolutely. Thank you, James. And we always like to hit deal with the elephant in the room. This is not another skeezy cash offer. I never ever would have got involved with it had it been. Most cash offers, there's nothing wrong with them. It's a business model. So the ugly houses are usually 50, 60%. All most realtors, top realtors at least, have cash offer programs. That's normally up to 60%, maybe even 70%. With us, you get up to 70% on stage one. We go in, we do the HGTV magic. You don't have to have any showings. There's no sign outside. You don't have to keep your house show ready. And this works for anyone, not just seniors, obviously, but it's, particularly useful for seniors. And then we sell the house. We can usually sell it for a little bit more, which is why two-thirds of our clients make more money than with a conventional old-fashioned listing. I want to scoot over to Kelly Denny in who's Yellow Post Real Estate in Utah. Oh my gosh, thank you for getting up early this morning, Kelly. Or do you get up this time every Saturday morning?
Well, I'm a little bit more closely related to that senior age, so I may not get up every Saturday morning this time.
Love it. And how is it? Because so Kelly is part of the senior living CPO program. He's a senior living CPO expert out there in Utah. Works very closely with Deanna Allen as well, who's our transition director. How's it going out there in whereabouts are you in Utah, Kelly?
I'm 20 minutes south of Salt Lake City itself.
Oh, what's the weather like in Salt Lake City right now?
Uh, Today's actually going to be fantastic,
Oh,
but come Monday and Tuesday, not so much.
oh, Is it starting to get chilly there? A bit of snow
We're
going on?
getting into the change. The change is happening.
The change. Oh my goodness. So you're going out to the senior living communities there and working with seniors as well. What kind of reception are you getting, Kelly?
We're getting really good reception with the facilities as we talk to them. I actually had one last week. Deanna and I were both involved, and I got a referral for a couple within an hour of that. Yes, it's unusual, but it's a benefit. It's a massive benefit because a lot of people don't have the money on hand to pay for their care, and their house becomes that asset that transitions into their affordability of their care facility.
When you have a contract right now, so can you talk a little bit about that contract without, of course, giving names away or addresses or anything else?
Sure. It's
names. Call him Bob or Samantha.
This is call me Bob. This is so this is a referral from Deanna. We had two up there, and this one we actually put a contract on. Got it worked out with our buyers. I'm actually in the middle of working through the construction elements that'll be going on. But this couple that we met with is the exact fit for what they're doing. They were referred to us. They had a place that they were already picking out to go to and need to sell their home. They do make enough money between them on, their Social Security and whatever other things they may have. But they told us that it was just enough to cover their, their monthly expenses, but it wasn't anything over and above that.
Yeah.
And so they wouldn't have any normal, wouldn't have much of a life after that. I mean, yes, they're going to have everything they need in these facilities because it's provided for them, which is really awesome. These facilities that I've met with they're top notch. I haven't been in them, hadn't had any reason to go into them until I joined the program and started pushing out to the senior living facilities. But they're fantastic. The people care, and the people that are working at them, the marketing directors and the executive directors and stuff. I mean, they make it a point to call everybody by name and say hi to them and how they doing everywhere they cross. And it's just like, well, they know every one of them. Some may have 100 rooms, some may have 162. I don't know. One of them, the last one we went to was 162. And it's like, wow. They're saying hi to everybody. Wow. And they're really good. And the offerings we have, like you said, it's not an offering, wholesale offer. I see wholesale properties all the time. And this, I'm hoping to turn this into the point where this becomes the norm out here in Utah. Yeah, to where you start seeing, hey, get our CashCPO offer versus get a wholesale offer and have your equity taken from you.
Yeah, 2/3 of our sellers make more money. It makes sense, right? So the couple that you sat down with, Kelly, just outside Salt Lake City in Utah. If you're just tuning in, this is Kelly Denny, just 20 minutes outside. So beautiful, beautiful Salt Lake City. It's the first place I skied in the USA when I came over 29 years ago, 28 years. I'm in my 29th year. So you sat down with them, Kelly and Deanna. Did they say, what is this? We've never heard of it. It sounds really weird. Like, what did they say? Should we bring Deanna in for a second and just ask how that conversation went? Because I think we were both involved in it. Am I right?
Absolutely. Bring Deanna in.
So Deanna, were they confused about it? Or, when you were telling them about it, what was their reaction to it?
Their first question was, oh, I get postcards like this all the time in the mail and I just throw them in the garbage. Is this the same thing?
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Yes, because most people, when they see cash offer, think skeezy. Hey, I've been in real estate for 17 years. I never got involved with a cash offer program because sometimes it's like a bait and switch, and it's a small part of the market that it appeals to. This is a regular offer. It's just a different way to do real estate. And you don't have to fix anything. This works for sale by owners. It works for expired. It works for on the market listings, off the market listings. If you are thinking about selling your house, go to cashcpo.com, cashcpo.com. Put your house in, see what comes back. you might get a very nice surprise. Imagine not having to have those showings, people traipsing through your house. The texts you get all the time. You get a text from the showing service. Most of us have showing service. Can you show at 10 o'clock? You got to run around, get it all ready. And then you'll get these lovely feedbacks like, why are the walls green? It was a famous one when I started, like, yeah, I really don't want this house because the walls are green. I'm like, that's paint. We can easily fix that. So you get all this feedback. Some realtors are not so nice about the feedback. You don't have to go through any of that at all. So I'm so glad it was helpful for them. So what, Deanna and Kelly, did you have to talk them into it for half an hour, or when you explained it, did it make sense? How did you explain it, Deanna?
Absolutely. So we just went through kind of a simplified process, just walking through the steps of the program, right? And honestly, it made sense. It clicked immediately
Wow.
with the couple that we spoke with, and the wife got super excited, and she was just like, basically, when can we do it? Where do we sign?
Oh, well, I've got to ask you, are they taking their money in 14 days, 30 days, 90 days? What did they choose?
They chose 14 days.
Wow. How exciting is that? Because they get to move in right away. I'm guessing that so, for those of you that don't know that are listening, you go on a wait list for most communities, and finally they call you. And a lot, unfortunately, often you have to sell your house, or fortunately, because you've got all that equity in it. But most people can't sell the house and get money out in 14 days, which is usually the timeline that they give you, because at the end of the day, they're kind of a senior hotel, and they want that vacancy filled. You'll lose that spot and they'll go on to the next person, which obviously we don't want. We've also got Sarah Green on from Scottsdale, Arizona. Hey, Sarah. So Scottsdale's obviously very popular today. How are you doing this morning?
Hi, Ro. I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. So thank you for being on today. So what's the weather like in Arizona right now? So many people move to Scottsdale, don't they, to retire?
Yes, it's still pretty warm. I think today's in the 90s.
Ooh, my gosh. What's the average temperature in the winter there? Just roughly.
I don't know, like 60s, 70s is the high
Oh, really?
typically.
So it does get quite cool. That sounds
Mhm.
really nice, but it's very dry, I understand. So particularly, and I've been there actually, how beautiful it is. You're very fortunate to live in such a beautiful place. So we are talking to Sarah Green in Scottsdale, Arizona, and feel free to reach out. You can reach out through cashcpo.com as well. There's a big link at the top, find an agent. We have agents all over the country now helping seniors do this, or often helping the kids of seniors. I always love to say that because kids are 50, 60 and 70 usually. We can still be kids, right? It's all comparative. So Sarah, when you're going in and visiting with the senior living communities, what kind of feedback are you getting? Do they think it's something that will help their seniors, or are they just seeing you as yet another real estate agent that wants to help seniors?
Yeah, no, I'm having a positive response. People, some of them are like, yeah, we have in-house realtors that can help with this too. But it's a bridge loan, and they have to explain to them that that's not what the case is here, and then they get really excited. So it's been
Oh.
positive so far. And not a lot of the facilities here have wait lists right now, which is
Interesting. Well, I'm sure, and I would also think that many of them have a vacancy or two,
Mhm.
and they're bringing people in. So that's very interesting. Do you have a particular reason why you joined the program, Sarah? What stood out about the program in terms of helping seniors for you? Do you have a personal story you can share?
I don't really have a personal story, but I just like the idea of helping seniors because I have had sellers previously that, this program would have been perfect for. It's always really stressful to list your home traditionally and get the home cleaned up and have showings. And, I've seen that it's stressful for seniors. So when I heard about this program, I was excited to learn about it and find a solution that will help my clients and get new clients so we can help.
I want to give you a big high five, Sarah, because you just said what most listing agents won't tell you when they come out to list your home. It's brutal selling a house. Is there any agent on the phone today, on our show that doesn't think it's brutal selling a house? Of course, as agents, we don't necessarily want to tell you that, except we've got very honest agents on the call, and they will tell you that. It is brutal selling a house. Why is it brutal? Because you have to keep it show ready, because you have to do showings all the time. You have to get your dogs out for an hour or more. You're not really sure. Sometimes the agents don't let you know when they're finished. They might be in for 5 minutes. They might even do a no-show. That's really, I know when I was selling my house just a year ago, oh my gosh, we'd get the dogs out, we'd put them in the truck, and I'd run around making the house all clean. We've got dogs, if you've got dogs, it's even harder. Or kids, I'm sure, toys everywhere, and dog hair. And I mean, let's face it, we don't keep our house show ready all the time. Most of us, 99% of us. It's such a pain. And then the feedback's so disheartening because I don't know, they just say mean things. I don't know why. And then when you get under contract, they're going to ask that you're going to do the inspection. And on average, it's 45, 50 items on that inspection. And if you're sitting at home and you're thinking of selling and going, my house is well maintained, all our sellers say that, by the way. It's natural. I said that too. And I really felt that way. And yet there's all these things that need fixing on a house. You don't have to do that anymore with this. So, whether you're a senior thinking about a senior living community, or you're just thinking about selling your house anywhere in the country, guys, we've got experts all over the country that can help you. Just go to CashCPO.com. Cash CPO. It's like certified pre-owned. That's what it stands for. CashCPO.com. And we'll get you together with your CashCPO expert. Oh gosh, we've got Joey, our CEO. How are you, Joey? What's the weather like in Los Angeles this morning?
Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks for having me, Ro. Well, it's about 70s outside. It's crazy because in the past 2 weeks, in the morning, we're in the 50s, and then around 12-ish, it's going to be around 80. I mean, it's good, but it's super cold, and I keep on forgetting bringing my jacket, and I just have to grab something in my car. But yeah, I can't complain. It's pretty much constant all year round.
So what kind of feedback are you getting from the senior living CPO experts, Joey, with the program? Or please share anything you'd like to share. You are our CEO after all.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny you've mentioned about selling a house is not easy. It's very painful. There was a study conducted years ago that there's the most stressful situation that can happen in families, especially here in the United States, is number one is death in the family, number two is divorce, and number three, I think it makes between three, four, and five is selling and buying a house.
Yeah.
And
Divorcing the house you got, right?
sorry, say it again.
Divorcing the house you have.
Oh,
Falls
yes,
into the three
absolutely.
Ds.
Absolutely. That's why as an institutional buyer, as your funding partner, we strongly believe that agent has to be paid well because it's not easy. And we encounter that with a lot of sellers that we've dealt with, especially those who try to sell their homes on their own, like
Yeah.
FSBOs. And they get burnt out after a few months and realize, hey, I can't do it. Or maybe they just give up and, okay, I'll just sell it at a loss. So really, in regards to the feedback to the seller, most sellers, if they want to cash out in a matter of days, they have limited options. Number one, they can sell it to a traditional investor or an iBuyer, and most iBuyers would eliminate the participation of an agent. Our business model was built by the help and by partnering with real estate agents nationwide. That's why we love working with agents because otherwise we're just going to be like any other wholesaler or iBuyers who's just going to take advantage of the sellers. I'm not saying that everybody's taking advantage or all these institutional buyers are doing that, but we've seen a lot of horror and sad stories that are happening to sellers, especially distressed sellers. And elderly that they cannot make a decision soundfully. So
Joey, thank you for that. And I want to give you a huge shout out. So you know, Joey is part of Joey's part of our network, part of our funding partner, and all I can say is, oh my gosh, last week we closed on a home in my hometown in Asheville, North Carolina, and I just got my water back. The house had no water last Tuesday, and they still closed on it. I don't know. So all the contracts, almost all of the contracts in Asheville cancelled. The business just died overnight for anybody selling the house or buying a house. In fact, every single day now I get emails from agents saying not damaged by the storm. So for those that you don't know, maybe you're around the country, Asheville was the epicenter of the Helene hit. We don't get hurricanes in Asheville. So the aftermath of that has been terrible. Hundreds of people have been killed, and they're all in Buncombe County, which is where Asheville is based. So somehow our funding partner closed on that house without water. I don't know how you made that happen, Joey. It's just amazing. And you've made Susan and Dennis, if you're listening, I'm going to give you a shout out, who now live in Ocala, Florida. They were able to put a non-contingent offer in on their house, and somehow, I don't know how you did it, honestly, because all the other buyers, I mean, institutional buyers would be the first ones to run, right? And so we all have so much gratitude for that, Joey. Thank you so much.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's a thank you to our team. Our company is really focused on sellers. It's not all about the pocketbook, and we're very seller centric organization.
I love it. And just another shout out to Joey to wrap up our calls today with Senior Living CPO and CashCPO experts who are running this program around the country. You can go to CashCPO.com, click on Find an Agent, and you'll find agents all over the country that are running this amazing program. So Joey we are launching Builder CPO January 1st. Maybe it might be January 2nd, just so we can all have a day off for New Year's Day, which is two days before my birthday, by the way, just so everybody knows, just putting it out there. So Builder CPO helps people who are building a house. So when you're building a house, and for builders out there listening, we have a lot of builders all over the country listening. For builders out there listening, it's not your fault when you can't quite hit that deadline. But obviously it's very frustrating, right? It might be maybe another port's gone on strike. Who knows? Maybe there's been a hurricane. Maybe your workforce went down with COVID. You know, there are always reasons for delays. So the great thing is the Builder CPO expert, you can look it up, buildercpo.com, buildercpo.com. The experts in that program will help you by presenting an offer to the person that you're building a house for. That was a big word salad there. I hope not. I hope that made sense. So you're building a house with a builder and you just don't quite know. Maybe they're saying Thanksgiving it's going to be finished, right? But how do you list your house? Because you're not sure, is it going to be Christmas? Is it going to be Thanksgiving? Is it going to be New Year? And it's most often it's not the builder's fault. Almost always it isn't. And we got this idea because we have a lot of builders friends. Obviously, we have a lot of builder friends in real estate. And builders get so frustrated because they're under contract to build a house for somebody. And sometimes they end up cancelling the contract. Quite often now, the market's got flat and is slipping somewhat in most areas. This saves that. So what we can do is give you an easy button offer that you can put in your back pocket. It's a full market price offer, guys. So 14 days out, the builder always knows. The builder always knows, right? Because they're getting the CEO. They know it's going to be ready. So at that point, you can press the easy button on that offer, get up to 70% of your cash out, move into your new house. We will go in, we'll fix it, we'll do the inspection, we'll do the appraisal. You don't have to upfront any money because you've probably, I would imagine, spent a bunch of money moving into your new house. You don't have to find any of that money. It's all upfronted by a funding partner. It's amazing. Buildercpo.com. If there's something that you could work with, we can do it for you now. We're just fully launching it and putting lots of energy behind it on January 4th. You can press that easy button, get your money, move in. We go in, we do HGTV magic. We sell your home. You get a second check, which on average is going to be, so if you've had 70%, on average, it's going to be 20 to 50% more of the original price. That's why 2/3 of sellers make more. You don't want to think about fixing up your house and having showings when you're about to move into a new house. And how do you know when it will be ready? Right? This makes it all seamless and takes so much stress out of what is always a stressful process. Oh my gosh. Does anybody on the call today have any builders they work with that you think would take use of this? Or have you ever worked with a client that's building a home that you think could have taken advantage of this? I know I have.
Ro, I've got a personal situation that would have, had I known about this 6 months earlier, would have worked perfectly.
Yeah.
We had I had a family member that had a home on a big enough lot that they subdivided it, and were going to build their own new home there. They decided to change locations, and so now we had to sell their house and a vacant build lot. But it was in a very good area. The one thing that happened to us is we got the house under contract and then a backup on the lot. And 3 days before we were supposed to close on the house, the buyer decided to back out. And so that affected the contingency to buy the new home.
Of course.
And had this program been available, or it was, but I didn't know about it at the time, it would have saved my family member the contingency, because we could have gotten them their money up front, and that would have given them enough to be able to do a new loan on their house.
Yeah.
And we could have waited to sell the house and the home, but it would have fit perfectly. I've had a number of situations where the CashCPO program was exactly what somebody needed in the last 6 months.
So everybody says that, Kelly. It's so interesting. It's like,
and that's,
oh my gosh,
it fits.
had that.
And it also, I mean, it fits my model too, with things I've been trying to do with my real estate and stuff. It just fit. It's like, okay, plug and play, let's go.
I love it. And thank you so much for being on today, guys. I know, it's of such great help for people listening around the country. And again, if you'd like to find the experts in your area, go to CashCPO.com, click on Find Agent, and we'll find an agent for you in your area that knows what they're doing with this. We only have top agents. We only have agents with a servant heart, and we'll find the right person for you. Thanks so much, guys.